Greetings to the Center for Spiritual Living Chico, to our family and friends on Zoom. It's wonderful to be together, isn't it? Yes. And so as we come together, I invite us just to pause for another moment, closing your eyes and taking in that long, slow, deep breath. And that relaxing exhale. We're in the presence of spirit, the presence of love. And as we consider gratitude as spiritual practice, we are reminded, Meister Eckhart, he said, if the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. So we're not really going to discover something new today. But hopefully, perhaps attuning our relationship to our understanding of gratitude. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind, he quoted 1 Thessalonians from the Bible. He said, "In everything give thanks." So on page 497 of the textbook, he also says, and added to that, gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness and unity. So I invite us and ask us, challenge us to think about, when I think of gratitude, I want you to think of one word that comes up for you. What is gratitude to you? One word. What is it?
Love.
Love. Appreciation.
Grace.
Grace.
Choice.
Joy.
Joy and choice.
Choice.
Thanks. Awareness.
Awareness. Peace. It's powerful, isn't it? And so my emphasis, wherever I go and wherever I am, I love Rumi. He said, wherever you stand, be the soul of that place. That is our calling. In our world today, isn't it important to remember and to embody that understanding? Because there's so much division, conflict, a lot of suffering. So I want you to think about spiritual practice. What's the intention of spiritual practice? Why do we do spiritual practice? Not only the practitioners are going to answer this. Why spiritual practice? Change our beliefs, remembering truth, staying grounded,
Unity with source.
unity with source, connection. Because whenever we meet a challenge in life, a traumatic event, discord, our tendency is to disconnect. So with our spiritual practice, we're reconnecting. We have all the experiences we're talking about. But what I want to emphasize is how important connection is. Because that is where we experience love. That's where we experience our strength. That's where we get our guidance. So it's so critical that we have a daily spiritual practice. And there's something different when our spiritual practice includes gratitude. I want you to think about your own experience. When you're grateful, doesn't it change your outlook? Let's imagine I have a glass up here, and the water comes up about halfway. I don't want you to answer this out loud. I want you to answer it first to yourself. That glass is half what?
Oh.
Hopefully full, right? Versus empty. Our perception, the way we view things, as we know what we think, we experience, right? Love the teachings of Ernest Holmes. I also love positive psychology. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist. I cannot imagine being a therapist without the premise of the science of mind teaching. It looks at the things that help humanity, that affirm our good nature, our strengths, and refers to gratitude as this thankfulness. Not only a thankfulness to what's going on, but a thankfulness, a worldview of thankfulness, a warmth. So there's an emotional connection, there's warmth, isn't there? Research, psychology's been going, what's going on with this gratitude thing? So they've been looking at it, trying to decide. And what they discovered, imagine this, that gratitude can be cultivated. So if we find ourselves in the position where we always are seeing the glass half empty, that's a challenge and invitation to shift things so that we can see that glass half full. It tells us that how we look at that glass, how we perceive that glass, and how we relate to that determines our experience in the world. And if we do practice gratitude, I want you to notice for yourself, practicing gratitude, didn't your life change? Radically so. Because we cultivate with that practice, the byproduct of that practice, it's a greater sense of happiness, fulfillment, contentment. These are pretty powerful things, aren't they? I think it's that premise that we want to be in the world with. So I always tell people, instead of, when we're awake at night, can't sleep because of the challenges disturbed, instead of counting the sheep, we count our... Oh, you're so good at it. Like you already. Some of the secrets of that, it also enhances and improves our immune system. Gives us better physical health. Physical health. Neuroscience, they study the brain. And the brain they no longer think of as just in the head, the skull, but it's throughout our body. They also, which we can come back and talk about in the future, recognize that the mind extends beyond into our energetic field. And so science is catching up with the science of mind. What's interesting is the relationship that neuroscience is discovering about gratitude, because of neuroplasticity. When we work with gratitude, our brain becomes more healthy. And it stimulates the frontal lobe. You know what happens in the frontal lobe?
Everything good.
Everything good. Absolutely. It stimulates the reward pathways. It releases those neurotransmitters that make us feel good and we function better. And it enhances our connection. Enhances bonding. Reduces those things like anger, frustration, depression. Wow. That might be the new up-and-coming antidepressant as far as neuroscience is concerned. So with that gratitude, constant daily practice, it strengthens those neural pathways that enhance our physical being. And I always talk about the four bodies. There's the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body. And so we tend to think in terms of more of the physical or spiritual and forget about the others. It's very critical that we recognize we have those four bodies and all four are impacted when we meet challenges in life. Or when we're meeting the good things in life, graces in life. Our brain with the gratitude practice becomes more sensitive to positive experiences, more resilient to stress. In other words, we're empowered in life differently. Have you not noticed that in your own practice? It also enhances our mood. We have a great deal more of content. Bonding. I want you to think about things or people or pets you're bonded to. Gratitude enhances that. That bonding is enhanced when we have appreciation and gratitude for someone. Say it's a pet. Oh, love that dog, love that cat, whatever it is. Notice how you feel. You see that and you have time with them. It lifts us, doesn't it? And so it's so important that we recognize, ooh, this is a plus. And the more gratitude we practice, the more it elevates that experience. I would also suggest to us, it gives us mental clarity. So that when we face things that are challenging, we have a different place of stability that has come from that gratitude. You've probably noticed that, haven't you? The hard part is when we face challenges in life. So sometimes people go, I don't really feel at the moment very appreciative. This is a big challenge. It's a struggle. I don't know what to do. Sometimes people say I'm overwhelmed, or I'm anxious, or I'm stressed. And so gratitude is not to suppress that. If anything, it allows it to come up. But our relationship to whatever the challenge is, because if we've prepared the brain, the four bodies, because we work with them, we completely deal with it differently. Have you noticed that? We have to remember not to minimize suffering. We have to honor whatever is coming into our life. I like to think that no matter what comes, I'm empowered by Spirit, what I call the sacred, that is there to teach me. How I relate to that is either something that I learn from and grow from and am empowered by, versus stopped by. When we face trauma, we tend to, right, hold our breath. And I would say the science of mind teaching about holding our breath is to what? Breathe. We feel the sacred. It's imperative that we do that. So, when things are especially difficult, that's when we must go to our gratitude practice, even more so. So I want you to think of a challenging circumstance that you have faced, and you were challenged with your gratitude in the face of that. And challenge yourself to look at it differently. To say, I'm bringing my gratitude to this. I know that I'm grateful that I know Spirit is with me. Spirit is me. I am sacred human, moving through this experience, the presence of Spirit, every aspect of who I am. I'm grateful that I have a community that shares that vision, that supports my journey. Notice what's coming up for you as you're thinking. It's challenging to do that practice, isn't it? But by that deep looking, by that deep sensing, by that deep feeling in the face of challenges, transform. We will transform. You ever hear the song, I Am So Blessed by Karen Drucker? we're going to do a spiritual practice at the end and sharing. Do you know the history of that song? She was at a Sillamar, and Reverend Mark from the North Hollywood Religious Science Church was speaking. He said, "I'm facing the impending death of a beloved. And so I make it my practice to say every day, I am so blessed." And Karen said she was so moved by it. That's what inspired the song. And that she uses it in her personal spiritual practice to cultivate gratitude. And so when I was talking to her about that, I've sung the song for years. It has changed my relationship with that song. I'm so grateful for her sharing her vision, and what she has brought to us. So I want us to think about ways that we can demonstrate or express gratitude. What are ways in our physical body and our consciousness can we express gratitude? Think about that. What way can I express gratitude? I want to hear from you.
Helping others.
Helping others. Yes. Especially when somebody's struggling. Meal is great, isn't it?
Or mowing the lawn.
Mowing the lawn. Running an errand. Buying groceries. All those things. What else?
Thanking others.
Thank you. Allowing what? Oh, allowing others to help. That's part of a gratitude practice, isn't it? Absolutely. Speaking of kindness, always.
Authentic listening.
Authentic listening. When we are in the state of authentic listening, we are fully present with that person. We're not only hearing with our ears, but we're hearing with our heart and soul and our consciousness. We're with them. Anything else we can think of?
Hugs.
What was that?
Hugs.
Hugs.
Smiles.
Absolutely.
Smiles.
Hugs matter. Forgiveness. Compassion.
Expecting what is.
Expecting what is. Being able to work with what is. Navigating what is. And navigating it with a state and consciousness. And must be our practice, because we are transformed. And when that energetic field shows up with us, we transform everything around us. Dr. James Golden was one of my early teachers. And one of the challenges in my ministerial program is he said, when you go to a place where there's unrest or conflict, your practice is to use your consciousness, your energy, to change that space. So that's an invitation for all of us. Does my consciousness, my attitude, does it change the tone of a room or a circumstance? That's the invitation and calling that each of us has. There's something powerful. I just reconnected this last week with my 7th grade PE teacher. I've thought of her for years. Remember the day she took me for an entire day we spent together. And I've thought of her throughout my journey in this life. I've had many people and mentors like that. I am most blessed. But I reached out to her, wrote her a letter, and we spent an hour and a half on the phone, and we've been texting back and forth since. We're setting up a meeting at the first part of the year after the holidays. And she says, "I'm in you." And it's just, because I wrote that letter and told her how much she had a positive impact on my life. We've made another new connection. She said, "I want to get to know you as an adult." So the encouragement is for each of us to think about someone in our life that we can send a card or letter to. You might say this is your invitation to do this assignment. We won't call it homework. Home opportunity. Because I'm sure there's been something in your life that has said something to you that seemed maybe small, but it meant a bunch to a day. We have that opportunity to do that each and every day. So look for ways of reaching out to others to let them know how much they mean to you, how much they've contributed to your growth and journey. I think it's also important that we recognize with different cultures, things are handled differently in the expressions of gratitude and the way we relate. I always try to remind us and remind myself that different cultures do things differently. And it's of great respect and honor if you learn those. So think about someone that may do things differently and kind of maybe perplexed. So we get to pause and say, tell me, how is this for you? And by that, we are connecting with them. With the amount of suffering that we see in the world, the amount of suffering we see within individuals and within communities and groups, at this connection, when we can be kind, when we can be appreciative, we are transforming that circumstance. We are transformed, they're transformed. We need that in the world today. Yes. So I'm going to invite us into practice. And I'm going to invite us as we do this, we're going to listen to Karen's song, I Am So Blessed. When we place our hand on our heart, it's the same experience as being loved. And so I invite you to do that if you're comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to have you take a long, slow, deep breath in. Think of the things that are blessings to you. Think of the things that matter to you.
So blessed, I'm so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so, I am so, I am so, I am so grateful for all that I am so, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for everything. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful.
Exhale, exhale. What are you feeling? What emotions?
Oh, it's your turn.
Bring up the first slide, please. What emotions are you feeling?
Please.
Love. Calm,
The next one.
connected, awe, rest,
Joy.
joy,
Nurtured.
nurtured,
Gratitude.
gratitude. Means reverence. Reverence. I'm not used to being able to have slides, so I forgot to share these with you. These are some of the things I'm grateful for. This tradition allowed me to integrate my Native American spirituality. And so I'm deeply grateful for that. Next one. I love the outdoors. And this is Sedona, Arizona on Cathedral. 2 years later, I broke my leg up there. So my goal is to go back now that I've recovered. Drum Circle, did that for 10 years. It's a labyrinth at the Center for Spiritual Living in Reading. Next one. To be able to officiate, it's a ring blessing ceremony in a wedding. The ordination through this organization has blessed my life. The beauty of cultural diversity and spiritual expressions. This is at the Hindu temple in Hawaii. Next one. That is the prayer circle for the Interfaith Thanksgiving service last year. So you can see the diversity of expressions. This shy one right here in front. Congregational United Church of Christ, Reverend Megan, Jewish, all the way around. Islam in the very back. Next one. We do a candlelighting service at Pilgrim Church. Solstice Interfaith every December. In the Frank Lloyd Wright building. Come join us sometime. Next one. This is a peace lantern processional on the Sundial Bridge we did as part of the Glowing Wild lantern exhibit from China that's there April and May. I have 50 lanterns, peace lanterns, that we've had probably for 15, 20 years. We used to float them on water when I lived on a pond. So this was we're not on water, but we're over water. So the diversity of faith and community leaders that were participating in this one. Next one. Another angle as we go in past the Sundial Bridge. Look at us stretching across the Sundial Bridge. When we crossed it and stretched out, one of the Wintu spiritual leaders did a Native American blessing for us. Nature. Connection to the sacred. I'm out on the Trinity River kayaking. You should join me sometime. The beauty of autumn. The beauty of autumn. Aren't those leaves just outstanding?
Awesome.
Out on the river with a couple of friends. Can you tell we're shy? Deeply, deeply, deeply grateful for my parents. Remarkable people. My dad, Karuk, and Upa, my mother, Swedish. And some of the members of my women's group that I've had for more than 25 years. That's at the women's retreat that was just held in Oregon. So I have a lot of things to be grateful for, one of which is being with you today. I want to thank you. And invite Marina up.